When the demon race's 7 elite teams arrived in this space region, they could only find ship wreckage. Within the Broken Star Belt, within the C9 grade universe ship that was flying at sublight speed, within the resting cabin. Within the cabin, the surviving elite sector lord team members all exchanged glances, occasionally looking at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, however, was distracted and conversing with Babata. Babata, how many points do you have? Don't tell me it's less than 1 billion. Even though I can easily kill that Ziqian 1000 snake, it's still at the pinnacle of Undying general level. Without official level strength, it'll be hard to kill it. Luo Feng communicated with Babata. Total points, 1,461 million. Babata said. Who? Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Luckily that Ziqian 1000 snake's points are 1 billion. However, it's really little. That's already at the pinnacle of Undying general level, yet it's only worth 1 billion points. Luo Feng, you're already free now. Even if you leave the team, you won't be punished by the military system. Babata said. The military rules were very strict. As long as one wasn't free, even as a direct disciple of the primal Chaos City leader, Luo Feng wouldn't dare break the rules. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, he was free now. Then, he could leave the elite sector lord team. Even though he could chat with his teammates in the team, he couldn't unleash his true battle strength. For example, a region like the Broken Star Belt was still a little too low for Luo Feng. Madman. Within the heavy silence of the resting cabin, Captain Taiwo finally opened his mouth. Captain. Luo Feng looked at him. Taiwo revealed a smile. I didn't expect to have such a strong warrior like you in our team. The Undying Star Eater Grass instantly killed 4 Undyings. You yourself can even kill a demon Undying that's at the pinnacle of Undying general level? We've all underestimated you. Your strongest aspect isn't Spirit Reader but as a fighter. It really makes us ashamed. Madman. Poison stood on the sofa looking at him like he was a monster. You really are a sick madman. Just casually pretending to be a Spirit Reader and you're able to unleash the 9th level Undying is invincible. Your true profession is fighter. Damn, you're just a sector lord and you can actually kill an Undying general level pinnacle. You're too. This is crazy. I'm acquainted with a core member of the Great Axe Colosseum, Realm Lord. Even he isn't this strong. I'm afraid that only the core of the 5 great forces would be this powerful. Yes. Like the Virtual Universe Company's Primal Region and Absolute Beginning Region sector lords, those who have trained for tens of thousands of years, many of them are comparable to official level Undyings in law comprehension, however they might not be able to kill a pinnacle Undying. Rock said. Luo Feng was shocked when he heard this. Rock was right, the Absolute Beginning and Primal Region sector lords. As long as they could become Undyings, they would usually be official level. If the Rock knew about it, then it must have some background. To be able to enter the battlefield with you is my honor. Rock looked at Luo Feng. Admirable. Madman, in front of you, even I feel a little inferior. The white-robed god sighed. You are more suitable to be called god than I am. Go. Don't be smug. The other members all laughed. Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh too. It was good to be with these brothers and sisters. Actually, Luo Feng could tell. These members had probably deduced from his strength earlier that he was either a core genius of the 5 great forces, or a disciple specially nurtured by an absolute being. However, these members didn't want to pry into his private matters. Brothers and sisters. Luo Feng looked at them. They all quietened down and looked at him. Coming to the battlefield outside, other than the simple army requirement, I have other missions. Luo Feng said. I believe even if I don't say it, everyone can guess. 1 billion points is indeed no challenge to you, madman. Poison nodded. You can't possibly just be satisfied with 1 billion points or even be here for money. Because just the Undying plant life is enough to make an official level Undying go bankrupt. Luo Feng smiled and nodded, continuing, and just now I've killed 5 Undyings, I've already accumulated 1 billion points, I'm already free. What do you mean? Taiwo was stunned. You're leaving? Hammer said seriously. Leaving? Enchantress wanted to say something but didn't. The group looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded. Right, I'm leaving. Taiwo, Hammer, Poison, Whirlwind, Enchantress, Guard, Rock, Frenzied Dance, God Spirit, they glanced at each other, their expressions complicated. Even though they couldn't bear to part with Luo Feng, they could guess. Such a strong warrior couldn't possibly follow them in the chaotic star belt, such a dangerous region. Sorry. Luo Feng said softly. No need to be sorry. Taiwo said, if you follow us, if we fight the weak, it'll be a waste of your time. However, against the strong, we'll become your burden, your decision is right. Haha, no matter what, I, Poison, was once your madman's teammate. Poison chuckled. Seeing that Madman has never said your real name, seems like your background is very big. Hee. Anyway, we have Madman's virtual universe serial number. In the future when Madman feels it's time to reveal your identity, then tell us. Definitely. Luo Feng nodded. Enchantress looked at Luo Feng with an alluring gaze, saying gently, Genius, when you become a big figure in the future, don't forget about us small fries. You only know how to suck up to others. Hypnotist Wei caressed the cat in his arms, glancing at Enchantress. If your thighs are big, I'll suck up to you too. The succubus raised her chin slightly, causing the skeleton-like Wei to choke on his breath, unable to speak. In tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years later, we might see you again, it'll probably give us a shock. Hammer reached out and patted Luo Feng's shoulder. I'll be anticipating that day, of course I'll have to leave the battlefield alive. After all, they had been together for half a year. Luo Feng had chatted with the group of brothers and sisters for a long time, however their parting still had to come. These are the spoils of war from the 5 undyings we killed before. Luo Feng flipped his hand and took out a world ring, looking at the group of brothers before him. These spoils of war to me, honestly they don't have much use. I believe everyone needs them more than me. Following which, Luo Feng used his world energy to control the world ring. How can we do that? This. Taiwa and the others were all stunned. This was the wealth of 5 undyings, especially the Ziqian Thousand Snake Majesty Monwayne. It was definitely worth tens to hundreds of undying scaled creature to wallow. Madman's vision is different from ours, that Monwayne. Madman can kill him easily, these things are really nothing to him, everyone keep them. Recruit Rock said. Haha, if we want to kill, we'll kill this kind of tycoon. Poison laughed and extended his hand to receive the world ring. Wow, so many treasures. Let me see. This should be worth tens of thousands of mixed elements. This is worth over 1,000 years of our harvest. The members all took turns checking the world ring. Captain Taiwa was even more excited. This detector is much better than the ones we use. In the battlefield outside, a good detector is extremely important. A good detector can detect the enemy while preventing them from detecting us. Just this detector alone is worth tens of thousands of mixed elements. It's really a good thing. Madman, you'll need a good detector in the battlefield outside. I have one. Luo Feng nodded. He actually had 2 good detectors. One was bought by himself, it cost a lot, the auction price was over 10 million mixed elements. One was the detector that his teacher, Hu Yanba, had used when he was roaming the universe back then. It was worth tens of thousands of mixed elements. However, the one that Hu Yanba used was better at ultra-close distances. It was weaker when it came to detecting a large range of 100 million kilometers. Captain, regarding the points for killing undyings, how much do you know? Luo Feng asked. He had wanted to ask before but never had the chance to. Undyings are split into Undying General, Official and Emperor, these 3 levels. Of which the official level usually attains an undying body. The moment they do, the difficulty of killing them is much higher. Taiwa said, and obviously the Undying General without an undying body is the easiest to kill. Killing an Undying General gives the least points and it's split into 2 levels. The low Undying General level is 100 million points, the high Undying General level is 1 billion points. Just these 2 levels. Taiwa said directly, the official level and emperor level are split into 3 levels each. Killing an official level beginner level is 10 billion points. Killing an official level is 100 billion points. Killing an official level pinnacle is 1 trillion points. Killing an emperor level is 10 trillion points. Taiwa said it all in one breath. Obviously he had been in the outer region battlefield for a long time, and knew many undyings. He knew much more. Luo Feng couldn't help but nod when he heard it. Thanks. Luo Feng suddenly stood up. Taiwa and the other team members looked over. Brothers and sisters, we're considered life and death comrades. We'll meet again after we leave the outer region battlefield. Right now, I'll be leaving first. Luo Feng said. Be careful. Taiwa emphasized. Don't die. Poison shouted. Be careful, the other races have many methods, none of them have an undying body. The moment you fall into danger, it'll be hard to escape. I'm waiting to hug your leg. Charm blinked. Luo Feng bid farewell to the team members who were adventuring in the outer region battlefield, turning and flying out of the cabin door. So. Luo Feng flipped his hand and an E9 grade disc-shaped universe ship appeared. He boarded it. 2 universe ships, one C9 grade, one E9 grade. They flew in 2 different directions, vanishing in the distant space. Luo Feng began his true battle journey in the outer region battlefield. Luo Feng had killed many sector lords in the half a year he was in the asteroid belt, even killing 5 undyings. Even though he had given the valuable spoils of war from the 5 undyings to the sector lord elite team, Luo Feng still kept a few items, like universe ships. These sector lords and undyings too had gone through life and death situations, killing many human and automaton warriors, collecting many ships. However, they were all wiped out by Luo Feng, resulting in him owning many ships now. F-grade universe ship, there was only one, the Unimo planet ship. E-grade universe ships, a total of 1,821. D-grade universe ships, 302. C-grade universe ships, there were actually over 800 million of them. It was a pity they were also the most worthless. Other than that, he had over 100 million different level life ships. Even the Captain Taiwa, he was after all an undying, yet he still used the C9 grade ship in the asteroid belt every day. He bought a huge pile of E9 grade ships. Who knows how many of these C9 grade cannon fodder he bought? Luo Feng thought. Many warriors spent tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years in the outer region battlefields. Usually they would buy large amounts of C-grade ships as cannon fodder. Anyway, it was cheap. Within the control room of this standard E9 grade ship, Luo Feng sat casually on the sofa, holding a cup of hot tea. Buying this advanced scanning equipment, at least I can peacefully drink my tea in the outer region battlefields. I don't have to worry about sudden cannon attacks. Luo Feng drank his tea. The screen on his arm displayed the information of the teams within a 1 billion kilometers radius around the ship. Those alien teams couldn't even detect Luo Feng at all. To be able to buy over 10 million mixed elements, and have the means to do so, at least there weren't many in the asteroid belt. Luo Feng, there's mail. Babata shouted. Luo Feng frowned, his consciousness connected to the virtual universe network. Most of the time in the outer region battlefields, his consciousness was connected to the virtual universe, because only then could he know his allies and comrades within a certain range, and during battle he had to turn it on even more, allowing the virtual universe network to keep up with the teleportation. Only then could he monitor the battle and determine his merits. Send the message to the screen. Luo Feng ordered, lowering his head to look at the screen. The army system gave the order. Warrior Luo Feng, you've already reached your quota and left the team. You now have two choices. 1. Continue fighting in the foreign battlefields. 2. Retire, leave the foreign battlefields. The words immediately appeared on Luo Feng's armguard screen. Continue fighting. Luo Feng said softly. The surveillance system received Luo Feng's reply and quickly sent another mail over. Now that you are free, you have the right to exchange treasures. You can also exchange them for money. Every 100k points is one mixed element. Since you are a member of the Virtual Universe Company, every 100k points can be exchanged for 1 point. You can use it to exchange for treasures in the army system, or you can exchange for points in the Virtual Universe treasure trove. You chose to continue fighting. First, you can be alone. 2. You can choose to lead an army. This army consists of 100 sector lords, 1,000 domain lords and 10,000 universe levels. Your mission is to lead this army to fight in the outer region battlefield. If you encounter any foreign race experts, you will deal with the undyings, and the army will fight the foreign race army. If you choose the first, then the points will be accumulated normally. If you choose the second, you will be willing to lead and protect the army. As you accumulate your points, you will gain an additional 50%. For example, if you kill a normal undying, you will get 100 million points, and when you lead the army, killing the same undying will give you 150 million points. Also, when you lead the army, you don't have to protect them, you just have to deal with the foreign race undyings, preventing them from slaughtering you. Please make your choice. Luo Feng smiled as he looked. Be a nanny? There were quite a few benefits. He could get an additional 50% military points. Even though this was a rather troublesome task, but it would still give him military points. Most undyings would probably choose it. It was a pity he had many trump cards, especially the golden horn beast, etc. How could he bring an army to use them? I choose the first, alone. Luo Feng said softly. It's been recorded, Warrior Luo Feng, you can request to lead an army at any time. I will now send the latest star map of the 7th battlefield, please accept it. The army control system sent the star map through the virtual universe, after which the connection was severed. Star map. Luo Feng sat on the sofa holding a cup of tea, looking up at the projection before him. The 3D projection formed a star map. The entire 7th battlefield star map was extremely complex. It was densely packed with special regions like the Broken Star Belt. There were tens of thousands of them, and there were trillions of regions that were even lower level than the Broken Star Belt. These regions had very few strong warriors. They were usually the sector lords, domain lords and universe levels activity areas. Broken Star Belt, there are many sector lord teams, many undyings lead teams too. Official levels can be counted on one hand. Luo Feng shook his head. To me there's no challenge at all, and there are too few undyings. Just finding them is troublesome. The hunting efficiency is too low. The Broken Star Belt wasn't suitable for him. Then I'll go. Luo Feng looked at the star map. The star map was a miniature version of the 7th battlefield, countless locations with words all around. Flame Sacrifice Continent. Luo Feng glanced at the location. This is the only high-level battle zone within the area of Army Camp 026. Enlarge. Luo Feng ordered. Enlarge the Flame Sacrifice Continent. One of the trillions of points on the star map, the Flame Sacrifice Continent swiftly enlarged. One could see an irregular continent appear on the map. Around this continent, there were even fragments of the continent. Simultaneously, the map had a dense amount of words beside it, introducing the Flame Sacrifice Continent in detail. Flame Sacrifice Continent, 7th Battlefield, Army Camp 026 highest level battle zone, the humans and countless other races that dare enter Flame Sacrifice Continent. If it's an elite team, they'll definitely have an undying. If it's an army, they'll definitely have an undying leading them. Every team has an undying, and the number of official level undyings is extremely high. Amongst the undying generals make up about 2/3, official level about 1/3, and very few emperor level. Here, if one doesn't have an undying body, then the chances of survival will be very low. Large amounts of information about the dangers of Flame Sacrifice Continent. The dense amount of words finally said, the largest continent of Flame Sacrifice Continent has a diameter of 1.8 light years. There are also thousands of fragments floating around it. The smaller ones are 1,000,000 km in diameter, the bigger ones are over 1,000,000,000 km in diameter. Luo Feng sat on the sofa in the control room, drinking tea and looking at the three-dimensional projection of the map. Flame Sacrifice Continent is the highest level battle zone within Army Camp 026 control zone. Luo Feng said softly, however in the entire 7th battlefield, it's considered the second level battle zone. Above it there's still the first level within Army Camp 022 to 036 area. There's an even more terrifying place. However, the weakest that dares to enter there are at least official level. Emperor level undyings are pretty much all in such dangerous places. Even if my earth body relies on my armor, my strength is 1,000 times that of a sector lord. I'll only have a beginner official level undying body, even if my law comprehension is stronger than a beginner official level. However, I don't have an undying body. Luo Feng shook his head. Even against normal official level undyings, my earth body would find it tough. That's the most dangerous place, where large amounts of emperor level undyings gather. I'll wait for the future. Right now my strength isn't enough. Luo Feng nodded. Wait till I become an overlord in Flame Sacrifice Continent, only then will I have the right to head to that first level danger zone. Babata, let's go. Luo Feng ordered. With LuoFeng's scanning equipment he was able to detect enemies early on. The universe ship could easily avoid them, hence the C9 grade universe ship flew all the way to the universe transfer point without encountering any ambushes, after which Luo Feng switched to the UNMO planet ship. Universe transfer. 50 times light speed. Luo Feng about 2 hours later will reach the transfer point near Flame Sacrifice Continent. After reaching the transfer point, we'll have to fly for close to 6 days before reaching the Flame Sacrifice Continent region. However, we have very advanced scanning equipment. The chances of encountering ambushes are very low. However, Luo Feng, you can't be careless. Who knows if you'll be unlucky enough to meet an Emperor-level alien warrior? That level of warrior's scanning equipment may very well be higher than yours, and if he discovers that your scanning equipment is so advanced, he may very well sneak up and ambush you. If you encounter an Emperor-level ambush, you'll be in danger. Hence, be careful at all times. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. 6 days later. After flying for a long time in the outer region battlefield, the black disc finally reached its destination. Wah. The control room's alloy door automatically opened. Luo Feng walked in with big strides, ordering 100% external simulation. Immediately the space outside became clear. Flame Sacrifice Continent. Luo Feng stood in the control room looking ahead. I finally arrived. In the distant space, there was a vast and boundless continent. Outside of that floating continent, there were other similarly large continent fragments. In the outer region battlefield for thousands of years or even longer, I'm afraid I've been roaming the Flame Sacrifice Continent. Images of people appeared in Luo Feng's mind. Taiwa, poison, hammer, succubus. They should still be in the Broken Star Belt. Taiwa, I hope you can all retire alive. I hope I too can live to retire. Luo Feng revealed a smile. So, the E9 grade universe ship swiftly flew towards the Flame Sacrifice Continent. From now on, Taiwa would lead the elite team to fight the alien warriors in the Broken Star Belt, while Luo Feng would be in the Flame Sacrifice Continent fighting the stronger alien races. And what would happen in the future, nobody could say for sure. Flame Sacrifice Continent, the main continent and the many shards surrounding it, even though it was just a few shards, some of the larger ones would take 1 to 2 months to fly across. One could imagine how huge they were. So, the black disc was flying above one of the shards. It's huge. Luo Feng stood in the control room and gazed down at the vast expanse of land. It's just a shard, yet I can't even see the end. Luo Feng, according to the star chart, the main continent is the Yenji Continent 01 continent. The continent fragment we're passing is 09 continent. Its largest diameter is about 900 billion kilometers. We're flying around it for about 700 billion kilometers. Even if we maintain a constant 290,000 kilometers per second flight, it'll still take us about a month to fly past this place. Babata's voice resounded within the control room. Luo Feng nodded. Actually, when they were in the asteroid belt, Luo Feng's little team could only move at light speed for a few days. Just like this piece of land fragment that revolved around the main continent, flying through it would take about a month. It was completely suitable as a battlefield for the warriors of the different races. An undying leading an army? This is the dark red race. This is the first time I've seen a dark red race life. It's as cute as described in my inherited memories. Just from their appearance, I can't imagine how terrifying these cute dark red race members are. Official level undyings? As the ship flew above Flame Sacrifice Continent number 09, through the scanning device, Luo Feng could clearly see the many teams within a 1 billion km area. Just as he guessed, this number 09 continent. Even though it was just a piece of land, it was huge and had many strong warriors of other races hiding. Many teams, many different races, their standards were obviously much higher than in the asteroid belt. At least undyings could be seen frequently. Luo Feng was dazzled by it. After a while, Luo Feng didn't have the time to check on the teams, ordering, Babata, you're in charge of the scanning device, look for me if anything happens. After which, Luo Feng returned to the resting cabin. It was made from F9 grade metal. Of course this was one of the spoils of war Monwayne accumulated over the years. After flying for more than half a month in the sky above the burning Sacrifice Continent's Continent 09, within the resting cabin, Luo Feng sat crossed-legged. Luo Feng. Babata's anxious voice resounded within the cabin. What's going on? Asked Luo Feng. Come to the control room, hurry, Babata urged. Acting mysterious. Luo Feng smiled and walked out of the cabin, quickly entering the control room. At this time, the control room had already turned on the external simulation. Luo Feng looked down and was shocked. Babata, why did you stop the ship? We were planning to enter the main continent, so why did we stop in the sky above land 09? Babata laughed weirdly. Buzz. A projection screen appeared in front of Luo Feng. On the screen was an image of a man dressed in a dark green battle uniform. He had pointy ears and his eyes glowed red like a venomous scorpion. Just by looking at this image one could feel the coldness of this man. Nolan Shan? Luo Feng was stunned. Babata, why are you showing me Nulan Shan's picture, don't tell me? LuoFeng's eyes lit up. Congratulations, you got it right, Babata laughed proudly. You've really discovered Nulan Shan? LuoFeng was shocked. Even though he had guessed it, he still couldn't believe it. The foreign battlefield was huge. Even though he had flown across a huge area in the ship and scanned the area he scanned was only a small part of the battlefield. To actually be able to meet Nulan Shan, this was really fate. The ship is flying above land 09, the scanning equipment has always been on. Even though we've seen a few human squads, there's nothing special about them. Just now we suddenly discovered Nulan Shan. Of course I immediately confirmed the signal and stopped the ship. Back then this Nulan Shan had used many methods to obtain the treasures of Earth. You and your family almost died at his hands. Babata said, to be able to meet him now, according to the words of Earth, it's because the heavens want you to find him for revenge. LuoFeng's eyes flashed coldly. Nulan Shan, back then he first sent an interstellar fleet to descend on Earth, using force to intimidate Earth. During the process, many Earth's people died, forcing the elites of Earth to come out from their bases, threatening to destroy Earth's many bases. Luckily Luo Feng became Earth's leader in time, using the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's laws to force them to retreat. The Nulan Shan family wasn't satisfied, quietly leaving behind a special elite team to swiftly kidnap Earth's leader as well as Luo Feng's wife Ziqian and his brother Luo Hua to threaten them. Many methods failed. They even arranged for 2 universe-level warriors to rush over. Eventually one died and the other became Luo Feng's sole slave. Finally, because of the world within a world, Luo Feng hired a strong warrior to kill Nulan Shan. However, Nulan Shan had long since fled in fear, heading straight for the foreign battlefield. One method after another if any one of them had a problem. If Luo Feng had become Earth's leader any later, Earth would have been in ruins with countless deaths and injuries. If Luo Feng didn't succeed in saving his loved ones, they could very well have died tragically. Nulan Shan. Luo Feng's heart was filled with killing intent. I haven't seen you in over 4,000 years, I wonder how strong you've become. Babata. Luo Feng shouted, scan the current Nulan Shan, project it. Yes. Immediately the screen in mid-air before Luo Feng displayed a shocking battle scene. One side was humanity with a total of 2 undyings, close to 200 sector lords, close to 2,000 domain lords and close to 20,000 universe levels. The other side was the demon race. The leader was a demon undying, it had 4 thick claws, its entire body was covered in scales, the scales seemed to be covered in a thin layer of armor, it had 2 malevolent heads, one of which had a gold eye, the other had a silver eye. This powerful demon undying, fighting 1 against 2, was actually able to suppress the 2 human undyings. At the same time, the sector lord, domain lord and universe level, a total of thousands of demons all had different appearances, the smallest was at least 10 m long, the largest reached up to 32 kilometers, even though there were only a few thousand demon soldiers, their aura completely suppressed the humans. Among the close to 200 sector lords, there was a silhouette. Nulan Shan. Sector lord level 3? Within the ship's control room Luo Feng gazed below, however he could only see the endless mist, he couldn't see the battle below, after which he looked up and continued watching the projection laughing, this Nulan Shan's improvement sure is fast, in over 4,000 years he actually stepped into sector lord level 3, the life and death training's effects are not bad. Call for help, call for help. We've met a demon undying, it has the strength of an undying general. A call for help was transmitted from the army system to Luo Feng through the virtual universe network. The call for help was sent directly to all the allies and comrades within a 10 billion kilometers radius. Luo Feng was currently less than 100 million kilometers away from the battlefield, however due to the advanced scanning equipment, it was able to block the scans from both sides below. Hence both sides couldn't detect him, however the humans could still use the army system to know the coordinates of their allies within a certain range. Luo Feng, one of the human undyings fighting below has requested to speak to you. Babata said. Connect. Luo Feng nodded, transfer the call to the screen on his arm. A white-robed man appeared on the screen, his expression anxious. Comrade, please help us, my scanning equipment can't detect you, I'm still relying on the army system to know the positions of my allies and comrades, your strength should be stronger than ours, especially with the 2 of us undyings, we should be able to deal with that demon undying, please help us, the 2 of us can't hold on much longer, the weaker universe levels, domain lords and sector lords will crumble and scatter in all directions, the sector lords might have a chance to escape, however the universe levels and domain lords have a low chance of escaping. We're all humans, please help us. Luo Feng nodded. He closed the call. That Nulan Shan, he's really cunning. Luo Feng looked at the battle situation on the projection. As a sector lord level 3, he naturally isn't a match for those sector lord pinnacle demons, he actually got the other sector lords to help him hold on, looks like he's quite popular. If this goes on he might very well escape. Many universe levels and domain lords will die instead. Luo Feng shook his head. The black armor on his body quickly extended and turned into a black helmet. The boots on his feet merged with the armor. At the same time, a strange stone plate that was 3 meters long and half a meter wide appeared under his feet. It was the Lovchi plate. At the same time, he held a huge golden shield that was about 2 meters tall with some beast god carvings on its edge. The golden horned beast doesn't need to use the beast god weapon. This weapon is only for my earth body to use. Luo Feng thought. Luo Fuchi plate beast god weapon. This was considered Luo Feng's standard equipment for future battles. Rumble. The cabin door had long opened, Luo Feng swiftly darted out. After which he rushed down. In the air above a vast mountain range, the human and demon armies were engaged in battle. On the walls of this mountain range one could see a few huge ancient carvings. These were left behind by the aboriginals of the Yenji continent. However, after 1,000,000,000 years, the aboriginals were all gone. Even though these carvings were infused with strange energies, they were still broken. Second brother, we can't hold on much longer. Nolan Shan said anxiously, we're about to collapse, prepare to flee. Fifth brother, hurry and flee. Fifth brother, you're only a sector lord level 3, if you meet these pinnacle sector lords you'll definitely die. Many universe levels and domain lords are beginning to collapse, hurry and flee, we have to buy time for you. Second brother, you guys. Nolan Shan was anxious. Go. We won't die. Amidst the frenzied slaughter, Nolan Shan's expression was pained, however within he thought, this is already the 63rd time I've fled from the foreign battlefields. Indeed it's easier to make friends in a life or death battle. Without these brothers I wouldn't have lived till today. It's a pity, over 1,000 years of emotional investment has been wasted just like that. Right as Nolan Shan was preparing to flee. Ong. A cry resounded through the land and skies. A gigantic and incomparably beautiful bird silhouette swooped down from the skies, shocking both sides. That beautiful and mesmerizing huge bird silhouette, there was a black armored silhouette wielding a golden shield swooping down. Luo board. Luo board. We're saved. The two undyings on the human side were overjoyed, and the two savage-headed scaled demon undyings howled softly. The Luo board was a rather famous flying support weapon. It was naturally formed, its shape was unique. At first glance the entire board looked like a bird, especially the natural engravings on the board formed a mysterious bird. The moment the Luo board and the user completely fused, using all their strength would produce that huge bird silhouette, increasing one's speed. Even though the Luo board's price was only 1 to 2 million mixed elements as it was naturally formed, it was extremely rare. Even with money it was hard to buy. Even amongst official level undyings, there were very few who had them. To be able to own the Luo board, it was already proof of one's identity and strength. Shu Fan, we can win. The seemingly copper-forged undying's entire body was burning with flames, communicating excitedly. Haha, who knows, we might be able to turn the tables. The seemingly weak-looking man, surrounded by water, was all smiles. Howl. That demon undying too was extremely cautious, even weakening his attacks on the two human undyings, carefully preparing to flee the moment things went south. However, in that instant, playing with people. The great undying, that weak-looking man Shu Fan stared wide-eyed. Sector lord? How can it be a sector lord? Howl. The demon undying however was extremely excited. How sensitive were their auras? They instantly determined that this black-armored young man was a world overlord. No matter how powerful his aura was, even if he was stepping on the Luo board, it wouldn't change the fact that this black-armored young man was merely a world overlord. How can it be a sector lord? The two human undyings were about to collapse. They thought their savior had arrived. Who would have thought it was a sector lord? Luo Feng stood on the Luo puppet and rushed downwards. With one look he saw the two-head demon undying. Naturally he was very clear what race this demon was. Space-time nightmare beast, one of the 18 royal demon clans. At the peak of adulthood, it can naturally reach the level of a region lord. Of its two heads, one has a golden eye while the other has a silver eye. The golden eye can affect space while the silver eye can affect time. When the golden eye and silver eye are used at the same time, they have a very strong control over the surrounding spacetime. When used together with a law domain, the power of the law domain will multiply. And this time-space beast below was the humiliation of the time-space beast race undyings. As a royal race with innate time and spatial abilities, this spacetime mastiff's attainments in time and space were very very low. Otherwise, a slightly stronger spacetime mastiff would already be at the marquee level. Relying on its innate ability to control space and time, it was only able to reach the undying general level. This was indeed a disgrace to the monster royal race. Otherwise, a monster royal race member even in the foreign battlefields, wouldn't be without an undying follower. The time-space beast, even though it can't compare to the destruction beast talent time stop, or the golden horn beast talent cloning, however, its numbers are after all much higher than the destruction beast and the golden horn beast. Luo Feng thought within, the space beast's 12 pinnacle bloodlines, is even more noble than the demon clan's 18 royal bloodlines. However, at the same time, the difficulty of becoming an undying even for the royal race, is much easier than the golden horned beast. Space talent there were high and low. Space binding was also a talent, but its effects were pitifully weak. Changing the flow of time was also a talent, usually just slightly faster or slower, the difference was extremely small. Teleportation was also a talent, its effects were heavenly, there are indeed life forms that can teleport naturally. Time stop was also a talent, similarly heavenly. Even the weakest race has its heroes, even the strongest has its weaklings. Time-space beast, prepare to die. Rushing down, Luo Feng immediately controlled the golden shield in his hand. Immediately the thick golden shield shot out rhombus-shaped metal pieces. Every piece had complicated engravings on it, immediately connecting with countless golden threads. A total of 999 diamond-shaped metal pieces shot out at the same time. Countless golden threads intertwined, communicating with the origin of the universe. Almost in an instant, A vague and huge phantom of the beast god appeared in the air. The 999 diamond-shaped metal pieces disappeared from the field of vision. At the same time, the phantom of the beast god became very clear, and the scales on its body could also be seen. 4 thick claws, a long scaled tail, a single horn that pierced through the skies. That domineering aura that seemed like it could destroy the universe, even though it was faint, it still made one's heart tremble. What is this? This. The 2 human undyings were shocked, the demon undyings were even more shocked, their gold and silver pupils wide open, humans and demon large amounts of sector lords, domain lords and universe levels all fell from mid-air, all landing on the ground, they all slumped down, prostrating on the ground, trembling in fear, just that pressure alone was enough to make the sector lords unable to resist. Beast God Weapon First Form, Beast God Descend. Completely covered in black armor, Luo Feng stood on the Luo Fuqi plate, staring at the time-space beast below. Roar, the space-time beast below let out a furious roar and shot up into the sky. At the same time, 2 beams of light shot out from the eyes of its 2 ferocious heads. Under the control of the space-time beast's innate ability, the power of the space-time beast's law domain surged explosively, directly pressing down on the seemingly weak black-armored human realm master in the sky. Luo Feng gazed below. Rumble. The surrounding space warped, grass and sky appeared, the powerful world projection clashed with the origin law domain. Rumble, as they clashed, the origin law domain was forced to retreat and shrink, finally it was forced to revolve around the space beast within a 100 kilometers radius. This immediately caused the space beast's eyes to be filled with disbelief. How could its origin law domain be suppressed by the world projection? Beast God Descend, First Claw. Luo Feng thought within. The phantom of the beast god that was emitting a domineering pressure let out a roar. The roar seemed to penetrate through space and time, coming from an ancient era in the distant universe. With a single leap, the phantom of the beast god was extremely close to the space-time beast that was charging up from below. Immediately after, a ferocious and domineering claw followed. This seemingly blurry claw directly tore through one of the space-time beast's roaring heads and tore through the thin layer of armor covering the head. Red and white splattered everywhere as the head shattered. The claw wasn't weak at all. It continued downwards and directly tore through the space-time beast's torso. Howl, the other head of the space beast that had its body ripped apart roared. Simultaneously countless pieces of its body became undying energy, trying to condense back into one body. The phantom of the beast god once again struck out with an incomparably domineering claw. At the same time, countless golden yellow leaves rapidly covered the surrounding area of tens of thousands of kilometers. Following that, they enveloped the heavily injured space-time beast that was trying to reassemble itself and escape. Countless golden yellow leaves frantically devoured and devoured it. In the blink of an eye, the space-time beast was completely obliterated. It had died. You should be proud to die under my move that contains the strongest beast god intent domain. Luo Feng waved his hand within the black armor, the huge undying star-eating grass swiftly flew over and shrunk, entering his arm. Back then, Hiroto had left behind 4 great techniques. Beast God Weapon, Beast God Roar, Beast God Transformation, Beast God Charge, Beast God Charge. Beast God Weapon had a total of 6 forms, each corresponding to the 6 levels of the 7 God transformations. Luo Feng had completed the first level of the scale armor. After studying it, he learned the first form Beast God Descend. One had to know that in his 900 years in Primal Chaos City, his Beast God domain was roughly at the Heavenly Bridge's 16th level. After studying it for another 300 years, his Beast God domain had reached the 17th level. The Beast God weapon was a commonly used weapon by the Universe Knights. A good spirit weapon had a strong amplification effect. With the Beast God weapon's support, its power naturally rose. LuoFeng's unleashing of the Beast God Descent's first claw was incomparably easy. It felt even smoother than when the Golden Horned Beast unleashed it. Its power was extremely great, already nearing the level of an Emperor. Close to the Emperor level. Spirit energy amplification of over 3,200. Sector Lord Pinnacle Spirit Energy. This allowed Luo Feng to unleash this move, barely reaching the level of an official. Along with the world projection directly suppressing the space beast's strongest origin law domain, one strike ripping apart its body, naturally victory was inevitable. Flee. Flee. The thousands of monsters roared, using the common language of the demon race, they all fled in all directions. The already suppressed sector lords, domain lords and universe levels all worked together in 2s and 3s, swiftly chasing after their targets. The 2 human undyings naturally didn't lower themselves to chase, smiling as they walked towards Luo Feng. Thank you, brother. That copper-like undying walked over. Thank you for your help. That weak undying carefully observed Luo Feng, simultaneously saying, he is Bo Yi Zhu, I am Shu Fan, we are both undying generals. I believe my comrade should be one of the 5 great powers. Dressed in black armor, black helmet and black boots, Luo Feng too descended, the beast god weapon in his hands and the Luo Fuqi board beneath him were all kept in his internal world. Wah. The black armor moved, the black helmet swiftly vanished, revealing the black-haired youth's face. Second brother, third brother. Over there, Nulan Shan was extremely excited as he gathered with the other 2 Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors. We finally don't have to split up, we're all safe. Ha, a 5th brother, we have to thank that absolute warrior. That absolute warrior is really powerful, he should be a Sector Lord, right? He actually killed that demon undying in such a domineering manner. And that yellow gold leaf, it should be an undying plant life form. Nolan Shan nodded as he heard, thinking within, a sector lord actually killed that demon Undying. That's too powerful. That's a true absolute genius who knows where he came from. If I can form a relationship with him, then LuoFeng's threat would probably be nothing. Nolan Shan was so scared of Luo Feng that he stayed in the outer region battlefield. Look, that warrior has revealed his face. He doesn't look normal at all. The second and third brothers' eyes gleamed as they looked over. At this time, many sector lords, domain lords and universe levels were all looking over. Nolan Shan too turned to look in the distance. The two Undying generals who were usually high above at this time, were humble and respectful as they spoke to the black-armored man. The black-armored man had already revealed his face. Even though Luo Feng had changed the color of his skin because of Luo Feng, he had been forced to stay in the outer region battlefield for over 4,000 years. How could Nolan Shan, who had always been grinding his teeth in hatred, not recognize him just because of the color? Nolan Shan looked at the distant black-armored man, his eyes wide open, almost as though they were about to pop out.